Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Churchill Reserve for this Round 8 NPL 2 Victoria West clash between St Albans Saints and Geelong Soccer Club. We are here at Churchill Reserve and we are live on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Josip Herzog and I am joined by Brunswick City coach Riccardo Marchioli here for commentary for today's match. But before we hear from Riccardo, we will go through the lineups quickly. Firstly, for the visitors, Geelong Soccer Club. Number 1 in goals, Dylan Nikolovsky. Number 2, captain Matthew Townley. Number 3, Mitchell Johns. Number 5, Izyan Erdogan. Number 6, Joshua Pugh. Number 8, Matthew Thorne. Number 9, Michael Trigger. Number 11, Dennis Yongul. Number 12, Joshua Talev. Number 88, Adamson Ajayi. And number 96, Paul Nicolescu. On the bench for the visitors, Heath Hayes. Number 21, number 7, Srečko Mitrovic. Number 10, Melvin Beckett. Number 15, Alex Stoyanovsky. And number 23, Yash Bol. And for the hosts, St Albans Saints, in goals, number 1, Robert Santilli. Number 4, Jordan Wilkes. Number 5, Anthony Cataforis. Number 6, Dominic Falla. Number 11, Adam Hoda. Number 12, David Sims. Number 14, Deji Omoboye. Number 15, Joseph Monek. Captain, number 16, Michael Grgic. Number 18, Ben Shaper. Number 20, David Stojic. And on bench for the hosts, number 21, Gabriel Matti. Number 7, Matthew Kandari. Number 10, Hernan Espindola. Number 13, Josip Konjit. And number 19, Marko Bagaric. Thank you very much for joining us here at Churchill Reserve as we are moments away from kickoff. Once again, my name is Josip Herzog and I am joined here by Brunswick City head coach Riccardo Marchioli. Riccardo, what are your thoughts on today's contest?
Good afternoon, everyone. As they get the ball rolling, it's going to be an interesting one. I think St Albans, with a win today, can go equal top of the table with Werribee, who dropped points on Friday night, and Geelong can edge a little bit closer to that top two or three with a win. Both quite physically strong, pretty direct teams from what I've seen, and it'll be interesting to see Geelong's approach under new coach, well, not really new coach, but returning coach Dominic Barber.
Yeah, it's a very interesting contest, especially as you said, with the results that we've seen over the last 2 days, especially in the western side of the division, as Rob Santilli jumps up there, manages to clear for the Saints as the ball breaks. It's kicked out by Erdogan, and we have Talev chasing, but it goes out for a St Albans throw-in right next to their corner flag. Geelong Soccer Club in their away green strip and St Albans Saints in their usual home blue kit, with St Albans shooting left to right and Geelong shooting right to left on your screens. Once again, thank you for joining us. We are live on NPL Victoria YouTube and Facebook pages as Anthony Cataforis holds Talev there just enough to ensure that it goes out for a St Albans goal kick, which will be taken by Robert Santilli. Joshua Talev, the number 12 for Geelong Soccer Club, is the only addition into the starting lineup for the visitors, as last week's starter Michael Yoseski has been excluded from the squad completely. Joshua Talev has come from the bench into the starting 11, and Alex Stoyanovsky comes into the squad to replace Yosevski's absence, and Stoyanovsky is on bench as the ball's with Talev. It's played forward to Yongul, but Yongul was marked offside. As we tick over just near the 3rd minute mark of this contest, which has started off more in the favour of the visitors, as they've had a bit more of the ball. Ball comes forward to Omaboye. Omaboye on the turn, looking for a foul, doesn't get it. And it's forward with Yongul. As if ball ends up with Talev. Good contest there between Wilkes and Talev. And the ball goes out for a Geelong goal kick.
St Albans already very clearly targeting Deji Omabe up front. A couple of direct balls, just testing to see how alert Townley and Nicolescu are to that threat. Nicolescu's got into an arm wrestle with him a couple of times just here on this right-hand side. So it's an interesting battle that's going to unfold between those two.
Omaboye has been a threat for the Saints. And once again there, showing his worth, winning the free kick, which Dom Fella might take quickly. And he does. Looks out wide for David Sims. David Sims tries to cross in a ball. It's blocked. And the ball comes out. That was David Stojic with the shot on the half volley. Trying to test Dylan Nikolovsky between the Geelong sticks early. As Nikolovsky looks for a searching ball to Ajayi. And it's run out of play for a St Albans throw-in in their defensive third. As you said before, Rick, Geelong under their new coach, Dominic Barber, who done some fantastic work at Bulleen Lions previously. What are your thoughts on him as a coach, and what do you think he can bring to Geelong?
Well, he got them promoted in the first place last year from State League 1, and he's had some success in Victorian football before with Bulleen and with the Zebras in the past as well. You can see they're quite organised. It'll be difficult to tell in this early couple of weeks since he's taken over how much of this is due to him in the short term and how much was set up by George Karkaletsis prior to Dom's arrival. You've got Michael Triggers just playing, almost looks like he's playing with the front two. Triggers just dropping off a little bit, but he's not dropping off as much as a 10 might. St Albans have had a couple of times where they've had a spare man in the middle of the pitch.
As that breaks out for a St Albans corner kick on the far end with Adam Hoda, St Albans' number 11 to take. His preferred right foot. Should be an in-swinging corner. The likes of Kataforis maybe looking to get onto it. As Nikolovsky punches it out. And it comes out to Monek. Monek going to look to take it by himself, play a ball through, and results in another corner on the near side. The Saints always threatening through dead ball situations, especially with the height that they can offer into the box. As the ball comes in, it's cleared out, ends up with Hoda. Hoda gives it to Stojic. Stojic flicks it on to Monek. Monek looking to get the better of the Geelong defence. Unsuccessful at the moment as it goes out for a Geelong throw-in. Great defensive work there by Paul Nicolescu. As Nicolescu throws it in, looking for Talev. Yongul tries to get a touch onto it. It breaks forward for Omaboye, who does slip, but in the process is flagged for offside. Been a pretty good spell for the Saints over the last couple minutes. They've been able to keep the ball in their attacking half. Which way do you see this one going?
Yeah, St Albans, they're on top. Geelong are just struggling to get it over their halfway line comfortably. They're doing a lot of that. and the ball is repeatedly coming back into their half. Santilli's just sent one straight to Deji Omabe, and he's away here. Strikers Geelong were backing off him. It's an easy one for Nikolovsky to take.
Nikolovsky with a long searching ball. Cataforis gets ahead to it and clears it out. Past the sideline for a Geelong throw. Just thrown in, looking for Ajayi. Ajayi on the turn. Gets past Sims, still under a bit of pressure. And Sims does just enough to clear the danger there for now. As Captain Matthew Townley is going up to throw this one in. Known for his long throw-ins. It'll be interesting how far he can throw this one. It's always a threat, long throw-ins. I mean, we've seen it all over the world. When you have somebody in your team that can throw the ball in, it's sort of like another corner. If it's used like it is here, it's a massive throw, but straight to Robert Santilli. Great work there from the Saints goalkeeper. We've seen many long throw-ins end up in the box before and hit the back of the net. Is that a tactic that, as a coach, you maybe try to use, or is that just a bonus if it comes along?
If you've got the players that can do it, certainly. St Albans are actually quite good at them themselves. They did it a few times against us a couple of weeks ago. As they're on the attack here with Hodor in behind, just headed home by Pugh. I think Nikolovsky, they've foregone playing out at the moment. Geelong, the ball's just being launched nearly every time they touch it by Geelong. And Trigger, you can see Trigger's calling for some sort of calm in there. He wants a couple of balls played to his feet, which is probably his strength, more so than trying to win the ball in the air.
Ball's with Cataforis, plays it forward. It's cleared by Johns. It goes out for a St Albans throw-in. Be taken by Sims. Thrown it in, looking for Omaboye, finds him. It's with Stojic, looking to settle his feet. Finds Hoda on the other side. Hoda looking to set it on his left. Gives it to Fella. Fella gets the ball inside the box, but it is cleared by Nicolescu. As Erdogan clears it again. Once again, we're seeing Geelong constantly just hitting the long ball. They're not looking to play it out at the moment. St Albans having majority of the possession. It's with Cataforis. Now the long ball comes up. And a great pass there. It's with Talev. Talev looking to play Yongul through. Goes for the shot by himself, but it is straight into the hands of Robert Santilli. That was a good touch there by Ajayi to give the ball through. It's with Wilkes now. Wilkes plays it forward looking for Omaboye. Omaboye gets it past Nicolescu, but it is cleared as it's with Krgic. Lobs it up with his head. Finds its way to Hoda. Hoda to Fella. Fella looking to skip past Yongul, but Townley picks it up. And it is out for a Geelong throw-in. Played up, looking for Talev. Yongul gets a touch onto it. Wilkes with a bit of time, heads it forward. Bit of a clash there between Thorne and Stojic. But it's with Townley. And it is now with Stojic with a bit of time and space. Plays a nice ball through to Grgic, but he is flagged offside. It's looking pretty positive here from the Saints. I mean, they've been playing the ball around, looking to, exploit Geelong, who maybe don't seem very comfortable at the moment.
Geelong look almost happy just to survive this opening period. I think it's a little bit hard to tell, but they seem to be when they're defending 4-3-2-1, the old Christmas tree shape, with Yongul moving inside into that space behind Talev with Trigger, and Jai joining a midfield three. So look out for that when Geelong don't have the ball. They may have readjusted that from the opening couple of minutes just to deal with Fowler and Gurgic in the middle. Wilkes sees it cross the line for another St Albans throw-in.
It's good work there. There was a bit of pressure there by Yongul, trying to disrupt Wilkes's defensive duties as Stojic heads it forward. Omaboya gets a little touch to it, but it's great work there by Johns. And the referee's blown his whistle for a Geelong free kick. I believe it is due to a handball that the referee has seen, with Adam Hoda getting a few words in. We're yet to see a yellow card, and we are just about 15 minutes into the contest. It's been a cagey opening 15 minutes. And Geelong currently with 4 players up front. Ajayi, Trigger, Talev and Yongul, with Yongul making a run. Ball's played wide looking for Ajayi, but it is too deep and it crosses the line for a St Albans goal kick. St Albans Saints will be desperate for a win today, especially after Werribee City, the league leaders, who they only trail by 3 points, suffered their first loss of the season when they lost 3-1 to Moreland Zebras on Friday. If the Saints were to secure 3 points here, that would put Werribee and St Albans both on 19 points at the top of the league table. And fortunately for us viewers, next week, round 9, Werribee City are hosting St Albans Saints. Therefore, if this is a St Albans win, that will be a blockbuster affair for round 9 at Galvin Park next week. As the referee stops play here with Anthony Cataforis over the ball. Just confirming that was a 16th minute yellow card for number 12, Joshua Talev. So just as I had said that we had yet to see a yellow card, we have seen our first booking of the contest as the ball is with Townley, throws it in, and Michael Trigger's effort finds its way to Robert Santilli's hands. Even though St Albans have had more of the ball, Robert Santilli has had more of the ball out of the 2 goalkeepers, because Geelong have just been blazing efforts towards Santilli, as that's a good example of that. As it's with Wilkes. Wilkes with a bit of room. Plays it to Shaper. Shaper with a quick ball to Fowler, but it doesn't find him. But ends up coming to Fowler off a little pass from Stojic. It's with Gurgic. Plays a long ball up. Ends up with... It was Thorne. It's with Sims now. Done a good work there. Thorne with the sliding challenge. And Ajayi breaks with it, but Sims makes his way back, and it's going to be a foul for Geelong against David Sims there, as he fouled Adamson Ajayi, the ex-Altona Magic forward, who made his way to Geelong alongside Melvin Beckett, who is on the bench for Geelong. Both plied their trade for Altona Magic before their massive achievement of promotion into first-tier NPL football, as it was Ajayi who got ahead onto that. Comes out to Stojic, who's been hit in the head, but referee waves play on. It's with Thorne. Thorne gives it to Yongul. Yongul looking to keep the ball in play. It's with Pugh, sorry. And long ball to Sims. Sims heads it out to Monek, but Monek's heavy touch is read by Johns as it goes out for a St. Albans throw-in. Once again, thank you for joining us, guys. We are live on NPL Victoria YouTube and Facebook channels. Drop us a comment, let us know you're watching, and give us your thoughts and predictions on how this one will turn out. As the ball is with Falla. Gives a nice ball to Omaboye, who tees it back to Falla. Falla with a bit of room. Gives it back to Omaboye. One touch to Shaper. Back to Falla. Nice triangles here by the hosts. With Stojic, gives it back out to Hoda. Adam Hoda with a bit of pressure by Erdogan, and the ball is taken off the winger by Yongul, but it is out for a St. Albans throw-in. As Ben Shaper, who is also known for his long throw-ins, will play plays a throw-in, looking for Omaboye, but it made its way back all the way to Nikolevsky. Sits with Trigger. Trigger plays a long ball out to Ajayi. Ajayi facing up to Sims. Ajayi with a shot, and that was a great reflex save there by Robert Santilli.
That's probably the first time we've seen Ajayi square up Sims one-on-one, and that's going to be crucial for Geelong if they want to break St. Albans down. That's a good matchup for Geelong. It was a great diagonal ball out to the right-hand side from Trigger. Found a little bit of space finally. They found his feet, and he found Ajayi out there.
That's a delivery by Trigger. He was looking for Talev there, but Talev's touch got it out to Ajayi, who had just had that previous opportunity. And the snapshot volley did not find its target as the ball goes out for a St. Albans goal kick, and it will be brought into play by Robert Santilli. Thank you to Ante Starcevic, Janakan Seman Pillai, I apologise if I got that wrong, and Srečko Barisic-Nikic for joining us on the live stream. As the ball comes out to Anthony Kataforis, it's back to Robert Santilli. It's with Jordan Wilkes. Finds Deji Omaboye, tries to turn, gets a nice touch to David Stojic. Great touch there, but it's read by Johns. It's with Sims. Sims gives it to Falla. Nearly found its way to Omaboye, who's been pretty threatening. There's a long ball looking for Ajayi as Anthony Kataforis gets rid of it as far as he can onto the road that is adjacent to the ground. As Johns prepares to take the throw-in. finds Yongle, but Shaper clears it. And a bit of juggling there by Thorne, but Omaboye gets his feet to it. But there was a foul in that piece of play as the ball's quickly played out to Ben Shaper. Ben Shaper with a little touch looking for David Stoich. It was the right idea, but Niculescu had read the play. It's with Wilkes. And that one comes off Michael Trigger. It's going to be a Ben Shaper throw-in for the hosts. He's got a couple options here, looking for Omaboye. Omaboye gets the chest to it as it comes down to Thorne. Thorne gives it back out to Townley, who gives it back out to Nikolovsky. Cataforris with a nice header onto it. Finds Omaboye, who's got three players behind him. Not allowed to turn. Gives it to Falla as the Saints look to go out the other way. Nice ball. Takes a little deflection as it's played back to Niculescu by Johns. And another one finds its way onto Fox Street. Soon we might not have any balls to play with. Just ticking over into the 25th minute mark. As it's still 0-0 here at Churchill Reserve. It's been a pretty even contest so far. You could say that Adamson Ajayi has had the best chance so far, but St Albans Saints goalkeeper Robert Santilli was equal to the effort. But apart from that, Rick, I can't really say that either team has really looked too dangerous as we lose another ball.
It is very even. It's, as we predicted at the beginning, it's quite direct from both sides at the moment. I think St Albans had one nice little spell in their front third, moving the ball around, not much eventuated from that. The one time Geelong have found the feet of Michael Trigger, he played that ball out to the right to Adamson Ajayi, who found himself 1v1 against David Sims, and that looks to be a key for Geelong. But at the moment, it's the ball's in the air a lot, both sides battling 50-50s. It's going back and forth. It's not really that much that's been created so far.
As Adam Hoda looks to whip this one in swinging, as Thorne gets his head onto it, as Trigger's chasing it, but it comes out to Monek. Monek gets a touch onto it. Wilkes puts it down, and as Townley tried to clear that one, it hit the back of Michael Grgic, I think that was. And it was skied over the bar. Would have been disappointing for the visitors had that one found its way into the back of the net. As the referee has a chat to Niculescu and Townley, the centre-back pairing of the visitors. They have a big job on their hands, Niculescu and Townley. I mean, Deji Omaboye is never a easy target to play against with his big build and quick feet. He always poses a threat and is always possible to create something out of nothing, as Wilkes is put under pressure there. And the ball goes out for a Geelong throw-in, as Townley comes across, the Geelong skipper, asking the referee how far forward he's allowed to go. As he prepares to deliver what could be considered like a corner. And it comes out. It was Thorne who got a head onto it. It comes back out to Thorne on the volley, and what a stop there by Robert Santilli, who was at full stretch to stop that effort. That was something that could have turned this game onto its head. Great work there by Robert Santilli, and it was evident as the St Albans Saints skipper Michael Gudigic went straight to Santilli to congratulate him and thank him for that save. As Trigger puts in this effort, cross comes out. It's with Johns, as Amaboye got a touch to that, but he's holding his knee. He's holding his knee, and this does not look good for the Saints. Deji Amaboye went to ground there, and as soon as he went down to the ground, he clutched onto his knee. So just have a look back at the replay here. He has gone to control the ball, and as he has stepped onto the ball, I feel like he has twisted his knee. And a twist in the knee never is a good sign. And just that the way he fell there, I really hope it's nothing too serious for Deji Amaboye. The Saints bench are out warming up. Amaboye is back on his feet.
Saw again there in that previous passage of play, it's the long throws and the set pieces that are really doing it for Geelong at the moment. They're difficult to deal with. There's a blustering wind, and if you're not onto those second balls, the ball that drops after that first header or that first touch, then that could be another key for Geelong to pull a lead almost out of nothing here. Townley's throws, he seems to me that he can throw them in from anywhere. It's almost like every throw-in in the attacking half is a corner kick.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, Rick. It's been good to see that talent, and also good to see that Deji Amaboye has made his way back onto the pitch. He seems like he's okay, but we'll see in the next few minutes as he tries to run off that niggle. As the ball comes out for a St Albans throw-in the middle of the park, as Ben Shaper looks to throw it in, looking for Stojic. Stojic with his back towards his goal, plays through Hoda. Hoda looks to get the ball in, and they were looking for Amaboye there, who just could not get a head onto it, as it's with Gudigic. Gudigic gives it out to Shaper. Shaper with his quick feet gives it back to the skipper. Gudigic with a long ball looking for Monek, as Sims runs around him. Monek plays the ball in, looking for Stojic, and Yongle comes out with the ball. Great touch there around Shaper as he looks to play the ball forward, but great work there by Dominic Fella to give it back, get back onto the attacking foot. It's with Stojic, who could not get his feet sorted, as Nicolescu, my apologies, Thorne got that ball out of there. That was Cataforis with the long ball to Monek. Monek looking to get past Johns there, but it goes out for a Geelong corner kick.
It's better from St Albans. They've realised Geelong are struggling to get the ball out of their half. They've stepped forward a little bit in that little passage there, and they won it back 2 or 3 times in a row, and they kept the pressure on Geelong, that diagonal, releasing the pressure onto the opposite side for St Albans, and they've got a handy corner out of it.
My apologies, it is a St Albans corner, as Hoda puts in the delivery, as Cataforis gets up onto it, and Cataforis, a young centre-back who's known for scoring goals with his head, had his effort saved there by Dylan Nikolovsky. Great initiative there from the young centre-back to leap up and look to give the Saints a lead. St Albans Saints have had 3 shots, and all 3 shots have been on target. Good efficiency, but they still have not been able to find the back of the net. As it's with Hoda, who turns, is given time and space, gets a ball in. It finds Monek, who's chasing it, who's got some time to put in the ball. Looks like it's going to come back out to Hoda. Hoda with a bit of time, gets a shot, and it's a handball. It's a handball there. It's a penalty for the St. Albans Saints. The ball came out to Joseph Monek, and Monek played the long ball out to Hoda, and Hoda, who got a volley onto it, and it was a handball by Thorne. As it's going to be Joseph Monek here, I believe, who's going to take the penalty. It was a great ball there from Monek, and great initiative from Hoda to take the shot.
He lofted it up towards the back post, but it was comical defending. Someone's just gone up for the header and ducked underneath it.
As Joseph Monek looks to convert, it is Joseph Monek versus Dylan Nikolovsky. As Monek with his favoured left foot. And he skies it over the bar. It has touched the bar on the way up, and it has stayed 0-0.
It was a strange run-up from Monek. He was almost straight onto the ball, and he's tried to hit it across his body. Just got a little bit too much juice on it. But that piece of defending on the edge of the 6-yard box from Geelong there was quite poor. Monek's ball wasn't that great. He just lofted it in there, and something out of nothing.
Geelong dealt a lifeline here as Monek, who doesn't usually miss, especially from 11 yards, skies it over the bars. Monek now using his pace to get around the defence, plays it out to Hoda. Hoda with the touch, and it is over the bar. The St. Albans Saints showing what they're made of here. Good spell of play here.
Yeah, Monek's getting a little bit of joy out there against Johns. I think he's realised he's a little bit quicker than him. He's taken it past him now a couple of times. That shot from Hodor actually hit the same part of the fence that Monek's penalty hit. There's a couple of kids standing back there. I don't know if they're targeting them behind the goals, but it's hit the same spot twice in a minute.
Yeah, it was evident there. Hoda, after the shot, put his jersey over his head. He knew he should have finished that one. That's good work there by Erdogan, who looked for Yongul, but Shaper cleared it for the time being. As it's with Pugh. Pugh throws it out to Trigger. Trigger with his back facing his goal, looking to turn fella, and he's done enough there to win his team a corner kick. Geelong are going to look to maybe settle the game now. They've gotten away with two quick opportunities there from the Saints, which they have missed. They're just going to hope that it doesn't come back to haunt the Saints, who are really in need of a win today. It's Michael Trigger who's going to swing this one in, as it comes to Stojic, who gets rid of it, and Erdogan with the volley, who finds the car park over the back fencing behind the goal. With Wilkes. Wilkes plays a long ball, finds Omaboye as it comes back out. It's with Fella. Fella looking to break forward. He's got Omaboye, dinks it over, but a bit too much on that pass. Nikolovsky takes it in his hands.
Just saw a couple of passages earlier where Dom Fella was getting on the ball a little bit for St. Albans. Geelong's, it looks like a man marking scheme, but Trigger and Talev switched for a couple of minutes. I think Trigger was struggling to do that job on Fella. And Talev just dropped in for a moment there. The fella's been able to pick it up a couple of times, and he's got a little bit of a foothold, not too much, but a little bit, enough for St Albans to get those earlier opportunities with the penalty and the miss by Hodor.
It's Hodor now on the ball. Gives it to Shaper. Shaper looks to play Omaboye through. Omaboye skips past Nicolescu, but Nicolescu tracks back as it's played out to Fella, and it's with Stojic, who takes a shot, but it is deflected, and Nicolescu gets it out. Only as far as Cataforis, who heads it down to Wilkes, and Saints applying the pressure here as it's with Fella. It's pressured here by Trigger. Fella makes the turn, given to Hoda. Hoda looking to create something, goes on his left. He's got Stojic in front of him, but he looks to go out wide for Sims, who has to backtrack to get to the ball. And Sims gives it to his skipper, Grgic. Grgic gives it to Hoda. Hoda in a advancing position, gives it to Stojic. Stojic with a little touch looking for Grgic, but he couldn't find him as the ball breaks here. And it was Nicolescu who's been challenged, but referee says play on as Wilkes plays a ball out to Hoda. Hoda's onside, and he is being flagged for offside there. But Nicolescu here right in front of our camera looks to be in an abundance of pain as the referee calls for medical attention.
Nicolescu's down, but I think that was an incredible tackle from Wilkes. Very clean, got the ball, and Nicolescu's come off second best. Fantastic challenge, though.
As the medic has made his way all the way down to this side of the pitch, as Nicolescu talks about the challenge. As you said, Rick, came off second best there. It looked good from Wilkes. There. He's taken the ball, and the referee agreed that it was a clean challenge, but as Wilkes comes down now, maybe to apologise. We'll see if Nicolescu's okay. As Wilkes helps Nicolescu up. Great show of sportsmanship there by both players. And just as we said with Deji Omaboye, we hope Nicolescu's okay, but it looks like it's a bit of a tough step for him. Omaboye looked a lot better after the challenge than Nicolescu does. And just wondering if Geelong are going to risk Nicolescu continuing, or whether they will hit the subs right before the end of the first half. Currently Geelong down to 10 men as the ball is with Yongle, who's pressured by Fella. Good work there by Fella, but Erdogan gets the ball, gives it to Yongle. Yongle pressured, two players onto him, and good work there by Hoda. This challenge between the two number 11s. Hoda skips past, plays a ball out to Omaboye. Omaboye with a bit of space in front of him. Faces up to Townley, but his cross works his way through. It's Deji Omaboye, takes the shot, and what a save there by Nikolevsky. It's been a great show from the goalkeepers today.
You can see once again Dominic Fella, so important. He launched that attack, and again, look, Talev's had to drop all the way in just to deal with him. But it's Thorne who's dropped in next to Townley at the back for Geelong, but now they're missing a man in the middle of the park. And Fella just picked that ball up as St Albans play their way out here. Look, there's Fella again in acres of space. He's just picking up the ball in front of Wilkes and Cataforis and giving St Albans a little bit of control. Oof.
Yeah, just back to that chance that they just had. I mean, Omaboye looked like he was just about to lose the ball, and he just powered through that defence, and he was right in front of Thorne. Just shows you how important Nicolescu is for the Geelong defence. you have Nicolescu and Townley, that centre-back pairing. And like we said earlier, they've got a big job on their hands with Deji Omaboye. And Omaboye showing that he's more than perfectly fine as the ball ends up at his feet again. And he's skipped past Townley. And he tries to skip past Thorne there. But it didn't come out for him as Yongle gets played through with a bit of space facing up against Wilkes. Yongle stops as he looks for a bit of assistance here as it makes its way to Ajayi. Erdogan making the run. He's given the ball. He's going to cross it in, crosses the ball in, and the touch from Michael Trigger at the front post. Unfortunately waved offside, but he did miss regardless. But it was great work there by Michael Trigger, the ex-Heidelberg United forward, for getting into that position and being able to get ahead onto it in front of St. Albans' defence. As Robert Santilli gives a long searching ball, it's Ajayi who gets ahead onto it, but it's out for a St. Albans throw-in. As we are nearing the end of the first half, soon we will be finding out just how many minutes will be added on, as once again Fallows with the ball. He's dominating in that midfield. This time loses it to Erdogan. And the ball is played forward to Ajayi, but Wilkes reads it and does great work there with his body to stop Ajayi from getting anything from it. But looks like he hasn't done enough, as the linesman has flagged for a Geelong corner kick. It would be massive for Geelong if they were able to steal a goal here and break the deadlock, especially against the run of play, as St. Albans have had 3-4 good goal-scoring chances alongside a missed penalty from Joseph Monek. I believe ball comes in from Trigger as it makes its way to Thorne. Thorne with a little touch, but Omaboye gets rid of it as far as he can. As Hoda's chasing it, he will get to it. Plays it forward to Monek. Monek one-on-one facing up against Johns. Plays it forward to his skipper. Michael Gidic takes the touch, facing up against Townley with a little touch. Takes a chip, and the chip is unsuccessful, to the groans of the fans. Michael Gidic tried a little chip there to get it over Nikolovsky, but it was unsuccessful as it went too far wide of the post. Nice little play there. I mean, Hoda got to the ball right in front of us here, in front of the camera, and he played it forward to Monek. I really thought Monek was going to take that one-on-one and go for a shot by himself, but he looked for his skipper and to no avail.
It started on the other end with the poor corner kick from Geelong. I don't know whether it was a set play, but it came out towards the edge of the box, and they've coughed it up outside the box. St. Albans took off with Monek and Hodor and Gurgic on the far side. Monek almost looks like he lost a little touch of confidence from that penalty miss earlier. May have gone 1v1 otherwise there.
As Townley does a good job there to end up with the ball. My apologies, that is Johns, the right back, as Sims gets ahead onto it, but it's straight back out for a Geelong throw-in. Should be taken by Mitchell Johns. During that break of play, I ended up missing how many minutes of additional time we'll get, but I believe it won't be anything more than 3 minutes. And there were 2 injuries that we did have to stop for. We've already played a minute and a half. Ball comes to Talev. And Anthony Cataforis, the young centre-back, does enough to ensure that Talev gets the last touch, as David Sims has throw-in duty. Comes out to Trigger, who can't keep the ball, as Omaboye takes a step in front of Townley. Omaboye skips past Townley, showing great footwork there, and he tried to slip it to David Stojic, but it just went behind. Once again, Omaboye showing how dangerous he is, how capable he is of grabbing the ball, turning a man, and not only turning him, but getting past a few more. It just hasn't worked out for the Saints, who have been the better of the two teams, showing more threat. With Geelong happy to see this one out, especially till half-time, so they can get a few wise words from their coach, Dominic Barber, at half-time, and maybe come out in the second half and steal the show. The long ball comes out from Santilli, looking for Omaboye, who's wreaking havoc. And that is half-time here at Churchill Reserve. It's been an interesting half of football. It is St Albans Saints 0, Geelong Soccer Club 0. Had a Joseph Monek missed penalty about 35 minutes into the contest. Rick, final thoughts on the first half?
Welcome to NPL 2 West, topsy-turvy, and you can see if you lose focus or concentration for a split second, it can spell disaster. I think both teams going for a well-earned rest, and it'd be interesting to see whether anything changes in the second half or whether the set pieces and second balls do decide this contest.
We will have you back here in less than 15 minutes for kickoff of the second half. Thank you for joining us. We will be with you soon. Welcome back to Churchill Reserve for this round 8 clash between St Albans Saints and Geelong Soccer Club. We have just kicked off the second half and the scores are 0-0. Number 15, Joseph Monick for St Albans Saints has missed a penalty in the first half. It was a 33rd minute penalty. And just confirming first half yellow cards, number 12, Joshua Talev for Geelong, and number 8, Matthew Thorne for Geelong, were both booked in the first half. My name is Josip Herzog, and I am still joined here by Riccardo Marchioli. Rick, what do we have in store here for the second half, and what are you expecting to see?
I don't think either side will change too much in terms of approach. Pretty direct from both. I think St Albans had a little bit of territorial dominance, but Geelong had more shots in the first half. So interesting balance there as Amabay's tried to get on the end of that, and Nicolescu just pulled up there, chasing the St Albans striker.
Yeah, interesting to see Nicolescu still on the pitch after he suffered that what looked like a pretty serious injury at the time. The way he fell and he clutched onto his knee, I believe it was his right knee. He's still carrying on, soldiering forward, but we'll see how long he lasts as he's holding his knee again. Yeah. Like we mentioned in the first half, centre-back pairing for Geelong, Paul Nicolescu and Matthew Townley, have a tough job on their hands holding Deji Omaboye, a towering centre forward for St Albans. As the ball is with Townley, the skipper. Plays it forward to Talev. Talev looking to advance forward. Is it back to Thorne? And Cataforis gets enough of a head onto it. It was with Yongul, but Shaper ended up with the ball. As the decision goes the Saints' way, and it'll be a quick free kick from Michael Grgic, the skipper, who plays it back out to Ben Shaper. And it's back to Grgic. A lot of pressure there by Trigger. And the ball ends up with Falla, who's had an exceptional first half. Handball wave play on. It's with Adamson Ajay. Looking to go forward. Plays it through to Talev, who tries to skip past Cataforis, but the young centre-back holding his ground. Plays it back out to Sims. And it's with Stojic. Stojic gets a little touch onto it, enough to find Omaboye. And the touch finds Joseph Monick, who's one-on-one. Monick with the left foot, and he has hit the back of the net. Joseph Monick finding the back of the net. It is 1-0 for St Albans Saints.
Was just about to mention, you can see Geelong's very clearly in a 4-4-2 when they're defending, and it means that St Albans have got an extra man somewhere in the middle of the park. A couple of times it's been Falla, but that time it was Stojic as the two Geelong central midfielders stepped forward. It came off Deji Omabaye, back to Stojic, and the ball eventually found its way through for Joey Monick, who we mentioned in the first half has the pace on Johns, and he just streaked away and tucked it in nicely with his preferred left foot. And I don't know how long Geelong can sustain having one less in the middle of the park. Obviously, between Talev and Trigger, one of those two is dropping in. They're alternating, but when either of those two doesn't do the job, St Albans are finding that spare man. And it's going to get even more dangerous as the game continues. This Stojic again.
Great work there by Joseph Monick, making up for that previous penalty miss. And the St Albans, as it stands on the live ladder, are equal first with Werribee City. setting up a blockbuster clash next weekend, as we mentioned in the first half. Round 9, Galvin Park, Werribee City versus St Albans Saints. Top of the table clash. And the Saints will hope that they can continue this form and secure the 3 points here. It is just one goal, as Deji Omaboye is booked for the Saints.
Geelong just need to they need to settle down here. St Albans have started very, very quickly, and they've identified that spare man in the middle. I think Geelong are going to launch this one, see if they can work something off the second ball again. Nicolescu's asking for his short option. Right? He's actually used it too. Something we haven't seen yet from Geelong, playing their way out. Erdogan, the experienced campaigner, is almost single-handedly holding it together in the middle of the park there as the turn, and Oma Bay is away. Another corner for St Albans.
Yeah, great passage of play there from the Saints as Omaboye skipped past his defender and his effort hit the back of Pugh as the ball is whipped in. It's a short ball. It came to Stojic at the front post. It was a Joseph Monek delivery, and Stojic got a little touch onto it, but it wasn't enough to sneak into the front post. As Dylan Nikolevsky looks to bring this ball back into play. Finds Erdogan, who finds Yongul. Yongul trying to use his pace to skip past Shaper. Shaper has his number at the moment. Yongul with his back turned towards his goal. Shaper applying massive amount of pressure. And great interception there by Dominic Fella. Dominic Fella moving forward. Tries to play it through to Deji Omaboye, but it seemed like he snapped at that effort as he had a bit of pressure coming towards him. He seemed a bit undecisive there.
Sometimes Deji's an easy option in those transition moments. Fala maybe would have been better suited to potentially putting his foot on the ball there as St Albans are away with Monek again.
Monek just losing his footing there as Yongul finds the ball and breaks away with it, trying to pest the Shaper again. Finds Talev. Talev tries to dink a ball through to Michael Trigger, but to no avail for the visitors as the ball goes out for a Geelong throw-in. Yongul on the ball now. Leaves it for Erdogan, who is going to throw it in. It's with Talev. Talev looking to turn. Jordan Wilkes applying a good amount of pressure as the ball goes out, and it is a St Albans Saints throw-in.
There isn't much sticking up there with Talev at the moment. He's doing a lot of hustle and bustle, but he's not really bringing the ball under control too often. And that's where it's breaking down quite often for Geelong, as Nikolovsky's caught underneath that one. That was the first time we've seen a quick break. Here's Fowler again, recovering the ball in the middle, and he's just dinked one over for Stojic.
It was a good effort there by Stojic, but unfortunately he went wide. As Geelong tried to play the ball out, and it broke for Fella, and then Fella played a nice ball through to Stojic, and with his left foot, maybe he should have taken that one with his right, but with his left foot he snapped at it. And unfortunately for the hosts, David Stojic was unable to double the Saints' lead. As unfortunately once again, Geelong's number 96, Paul Nicolescu, goes down on the ground and his shin pads are off, which is a sign that we will be seeing the first substitution of the match, and it'll be number 23, Yach Bol, to come on for Paul Nicolescu. The ball is with Hoda. Hoda looking to cross it in, and the ball comes to Townley. Townley clears the ball. Fella with a nice touch there. Comes back to... That was not Fella, that was Shaper. My apologies. Shaper finding himself in an unorthodox position, and he did end up getting a shot out of it, but unfortunately for the Saints, wasn't able to double their lead. Cataforus gets a head onto it. Yach Bol, the substitute. His first piece of play as Monik throws it in to Fella. Nice 1-2 there by the players. And it's back with Fella. Doesn't get to it. It's with Michael Trigger under a bit of pressure from David Sims. Michael Trigger skips past one. Now Gurgic does enough to cover young David Sims. Great 1-2 there between Michael Gurgic and Dominic Fella. And the ball's being played through from Michael Gurgic. It's to Deji Omaboye. Omaboye with the touch. And hasn't found the back of the net. And it's come out to Adam Hoda. As the clearance looked off the line clearance, looked like it had sealed the defensive work there from the visitors. It came out to Adam Hoda, who doubles St Albans' lead. It is St Albans 2, Geelong 0.
It was well won. It was Trigger on this near side who refused to play the ball to Talev. He tried to go it on his own. St Albans robbed him with 2 or 3 players. They played a great little combination to get out. Gurgic found Omaboye running through into the space. And unfortunately, Pugh, who came across to try and clear it off the line, has cleared it back into his own post and teed up the goal.
The Saints with a bit of a cushion now as it comes out to Trigger. Trigger looking to half the deficit right away as it comes to Bol. Bol unable to set his feet as it comes to Gurgic. Gurgic lets loose, plays it out, looking for Hoda, who tried to run onto it, but did enough to force a clearance out into the touchline.
You can see Izzy Erdogan's come into the back four. Yach Bol's come into centre of midfield, and it may have been a slight bit of confusion as I think Izzy Erdogan stepped forward in that last passage of play, and Omaboye made that run into the space behind him. So just potentially a momentary lack of concentration or a bit of confusion, and it's opened the door for St Albans.
Cataforus plays a long ball, searching for Joseph Monik, but he's overhit that one, young centre-back. So it goes out for a Geelong Soccer Club goal kick. Dylan Nikolovsky to bring the ball back into play. A high ball. Drops down. It was with Thorne. Finds Ajayi, who does enough to get a touch off Sims. It's a Geelong throw. And another substitution here for the visitors, as it will be number 7, Srečko Mitrovic, coming on for Dennis Yongul, number 11. 61st minute substitution. Mitrovic has joined the play, and he seems like he's sitting in an attacking midfield role, as Talev has been moved from a more advanced attacking role into more of a defensive midfielder role, as the ball is with Omaboye, who does enough to force Johns to bring the ball out of play, as the Saints will be in no hurry. Ball's with Monek. Gives it back out to Fella, who loses the ball and tugs on the shirt of Adamson Ajayi and goes without a yellow card, but gets a talking to from the ref. We are into the final half an hour of this contest. It is St Albans 2, Geelong Soccer Club 0. Long ball from Santilli, looking for Omaboye. Omaboye is about to get onto it. Squares up against Townley. And Omaboye on the ball, looking to skip past. Gets a shot off, but it's a low-struck effort and doesn't trouble Dylan Nikolovsky. Two goals from the Saints coming in the 49th minute from Joseph Monek and the 58th minute from Adam Hoda, as Josh Pugh heads it back to Dylan Nikolovsky. Nikolovsky with a long ball out, looking for Talev. As it makes its way back down to Matthew Thorne. However, it is a St Albans Saints throw-in.
Michael Trigger looks really frustrated up the top for Geelong. There isn't much, as we said in the first half, there isn't much coming into his feet. He's having to battle against 2 or 3 players at a time. 50-50 balls. There it is again, just coming in at knee height for Trigger. And his big strength is when you play it into his feet. Here's Deji turning again.
Omaboye looking to create something, gives it to Stojic, who finds Monek at the back post. Monek looking to use his quick feet, gives it back out to Grgic. Grgic up against Boll. It's come to Fella. Fella gives it to Hoda. Hoda with a little dink over for Michael Grgic, but it is waved offside. Nice little piece of play there from the Saints. Looked dangerous, but to no avail.
Again, it's the extra man in the middle that Geelong are struggling to deal with. Mitrovic has coming to help on that last occasion, but they're finding that spare player, St. Albans, and they seem to have a little bit more energy. Gurgic is making forward runs, and Dom Faller's he's broken a couple of times through midfield. Stojic is supporting Oma Bay, and Geelong have no answer. Yach Bowl, who's come on in the middle of the park, has been pretty ineffective at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been tough for Yach Bowl to get a grip on the game, as the two new additions, Yach Bowl and Srećko Mitrovic for Geelong, playing side by side. Mitrovic in a midfield position, more attacking, and Bowl playing in a more of a central midfield role. As Michael Trigger looks to whip this outswinger in with his favoured right foot. As we have a substitution here for the St. Albans Saints. It will be number 20, David Stojic, off for number 7, Matthew Kandari, I believe. That's correct, number 7, Matthew Kandari. 67th minute substitution, as a corner goes for Geelong.
So once again, you saw just earlier Triggers come out to this right-hand side. Ajayi had just floated into the middle, but the delivery that's coming to Trigger is difficult for him to deal with. He's having to shrug off defenders, and they've put him out here against Sims. See if he can find some joy. The set piece comes in and cleared off the line by Jordan Wilkes and collected by Santilli.
Great defensive work there by Jordan Wilkes as the corner came in. It was a great delivery, but as it came to the front post, it came to Joshua Talev, and the touch off his knee was just enough for Jordan Wilkes to read the play, and to the congratulations of his teammates, he has saved the hosts from getting their lead halved. There's a dead ball for Geelong right in front of the St. Albans bench. It's whipped in, and no trouble for Robert Santilli. And the ball comes to Omaboye, who uses his body and ends up with the ball. Heavy touch there, but it still has enough space to move around. 1-2 with Hoda. Plays the ball through to Kandari, who's onside. Kandari whips one in, looking for Joseph Monek at the back post, but Monek's run was lacking, and he was a bit behind the play there. But it was great work there from Matthew Kandari, who has just been introduced into the game. Done well to stay onside there, as Joseph Monek is going to whip this one in with his left foot. It's Michael Gurgic at the back post. Skipper's contribution. It is 3-0 for the Saints.
There it is again, set pieces. We know St. Albans are very strong, very dangerous. We've seen Gurgic win those headers in previous weeks, and there he is again, given half a metre of space, and he gets his head to it, makes it 3-0. Started with that little combination through the middle, and Deji Omabai playing Kundari out on the right-hand side, dangerous ball in from Kundari. It turned his yurt again around facing his own goal, who did a good job to clear it, but unfortunately it trickled out for a corner, and you just cannot give them corners at Churchill Reserve.
Fantastically whipped ball as St Albans go on the attack again. It's Michael Gurgic who looks to cross the ball in, but as his run was at full stretch there, it was tough for the Saints skipper, who had just hit the net a minute ago, to get that ball in for a fourth St Albans goal.
St Albans clearly have the momentum and the confidence at the moment, but I was just looking at Yatch Bowl. Every time in the last 2 or 3 passages of play that St Albans have come through the centre of the park, I've looked up and seen Yatch Bowl just floating in space just in front of our commentary window here. He's really not providing much protection for his central defenders alongside Thorne in the middle. And I suspect that would have been his primary job or his primary role since coming on for Niculescu earlier. But he seems to be a passive figure in the middle at the moment for Geelong. And we've seen Gurgic flying through now a couple of times, and it's just Thorne on his own protecting the back four at the moment for Geelong. There's ball in the air. Gurgic hooks one. I think Kundari would have been offside had he latched onto that one.
Dylan Nikolovsky plays a long ball out, looking for Ajayi, doesn't find him, and it's with Kundari, who gives it to Monek, but great work there by Thorne. Finds Mitrovic. Mitrovic looking for Ajayi, can't get onto it. Wilkes with great defensive work, and it's with Fella. Fella with his facing his goal, gives it to Sims. Sims finds Monek. Monek with a little touch to Omoboye, but it is Thorne who gets onto the ball and plays it back to his goalkeeper, Nikolovsky. Nikolovsky with a long ball looking down this right flank again. Great work by Sims, who clutches onto his calf. Great work there again from the young defender. And it's with Fella. Fella plays a long searching ball for Adam Hoda, finds his feet. Adam Hoda looking to turn. Done great work there against Pugh, but unfortunately with the ball, he's latched onto Pugh's trailing foot, and it's with Mitrovic. Mitrovic gives it to Townley. Townley finds Pugh out on the left fullback position. It was with ball makes its way out to Johns. Johns looking to skip past Monek, but Monek does enough as Geelong at their third and final substitution. It is number 88, Adamson Ajayi, coming off for number 10, Melvin Beckett.
Previous passage, it was the first time we've seen Geelong really move the ball from one side of the pitch to the other. And the fullback on this near side, Johns, was almost nosebleed territory for him, just crossing the halfway line. It's they may need to try a little bit more of that if they're going to break St Albans down and find any way back into this game, because at the moment the direct approach hasn't been working for them. They're playing their way through now with Mitrovic and Trigger, and there's Talev. Doesn't have much around him. He's played the ball out. There's the opposite fullback, Pugh. Mitrovic getting involved in the last couple of minutes, and he's just played that one out of play under pressure from Falla. Love to see Falla's GPS stats at the end of each game. He covers a considerable amount of ground every week. He's got a real motor on him.
He's been one of the standout performers today. He hasn't gotten himself onto the score sheet, but he has been involved with absolutely everything that the Saints have put forward. As Maboye looks to skip past the defence. He's got 4 players tracking him, and he's still had the ball. And Hoda looks to tee up a through ball, but a miscommunication there from the Saints. But miscommunications are easier to forgive when you're 3-0 up. Nikolovsky with the goal kick. Looks for Talev, my apologies. And second substitution here for the hosts. It will be Deji Omoboye, number 14, coming off for number 10, Hernan Espindola. '76th minute substitution. Deji Omoboye, who was working hard all game. He had been pestering that Geelong defence. He hasn't been able to get himself on the score sheet, but great work from the number 14.
He's a massive handful, and Matt Kundari, who's gone up there, isn't much easier. He's very, very mobile and energetic. Espindola's just dropped in as one of the attacking midfielders, and Hoda's actually just helping him out in a minute there. Kundari's full of energy up there. He's going to be no easier to deal with. Here goes Johns.
Johns breaks forward, and he found Mitrovic, but Mitrovic dispossessed. And the ball is with Kundari, plays it forward to Monek. Monek with one to beat, back facing his attacking goal. He's turned around, he's given it to Espindola, who's covering a lot of ground since he's been injected into this game. Nice couple passes there. It's with Fella. Fella back to Monek. Monek to Sims. Sims with a bit of room in front of him. Plays a long ball looking for Kundari, but makes its way to Erdogan as Mitrovic looks to break around Michael Grigic. Gives it to Bol. Bol with a bit of space in front of him. Can use these long legs of his to go forward. And it's with Melvin Beckett, the substitute. Beckett whips in a ball forward, and it is great work there by Ben Shaper and assisted by Jordan Wilkes there as Espindola gets the ball out to Monek. Monek's touch is a little light, putting Fella under pressure. It's with Beckett. Beckett with the ball. Gives it to... That was Trigger that he gave it to. But this Geelong attack results to nothing. Ball's with Wilkes. Wilkes tries to get rid of it. Good pressure there by Trigger. Trigger with his back towards goal. Gives it to Talev. Talev with the shot. And it flies over the crossbar. The Saints happy to see that one out. To all of our viewers on Facebook and YouTube, we apologise for the delay. But we are back on, live, and hopefully uninterrupted, with just under 10 minutes to go in this round 8 contest between St Albans Saints and Geelong Soccer Club, as the hosts St Albans Saints with their third and final substitution, as number 5 Anthony Kataforis makes way for number 13 Josip Konjit.
St Albans just with a little bit of control now. Had a couple of outages. Here's Hoda. He's looking for Kandari in the middle, and Geelong happy to just clear it anywhere at the moment. I think Geelong's best moments in this second half have come, as we said, when Trigger's been involved. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened often enough, and St Albans with that extra man in the middle of the park. Oof, that one's almost looped over Nikolovsky's head. It's gone out for a goal kick, but with that extra man in the middle of the park, they've found some joy, some extra energy, and it's been the telling difference, as well as what we said in the first half, a set piece from St Albans. Corner kick. I think the big blow for Geelong was losing Nicolescu early on in the half, and Izzy Erdogan, who was doing a really good job in the middle of the park in the first half, has had to come into the back four and perhaps just hasn't adapted quickly enough to the change in position. He's often been found stepping forward, especially when he first moved into the back four, and that's opened the door a couple of times for St Albans. Here's Beckett. Beckett's found a way through here. Talev almost passes that one back to Santilli.
Yeah, it was positive there from Melvin Beckett. He got the ball, went onto the turn, gave it to Talev, but decision-making there from Josh Talev was not the best, as it found its way straight into the hands of Robert Santilli. The ball is lost by the Saints. Geelong try to get it forward to Michael Trigger, but to no avail, as it's with Bol. Bol looking to turn. Falla give him good pressure there, as Mitrovic is forced to go out wide. And as the ball comes to Beckett from Pugh, it is cleared out into the touchline for a Geelong throw-in. Thank you to Joey Giacomazzo and Vedran Stojanovic for joining the stream today and being active in the comments. As Townley stands on top of this dead ball situation. I think he'll look to dink this one into the box, as he does. Looking for Thorne. Thorne gets a head onto it, and he was looking for Talev there, but Talev was unable to get any contact onto the ball. With Monek, who tried to skip forward there, maybe get his brace, but it was great work there by Johns. It's with Nikolovsky. Some of Nikolovsky's long balls today, as he's tried to clear them, they've found height, but as they've found height, the wind that's going from right to left on your screens has just held up the ball, and he hasn't been able to actually get the distance that he's wanted to. As Josip Konjet sees this one out.
It's clearly a big part of their game plan as well, so the fact that those balls are falling short hasn't really helped them because they're dropping back into the middle of the park, and they seem to be coming back pretty often. There's Johns just caught under it. There's again St. Albans with a spare player in the middle. This time Espindola. St. Albans now just able to comfortably move the ball around. Mitrovic is supposed to be dropping in there for Geelong, but a little bit slow to recover, and Yach Bowl's been a ghost defensively.
And the ball is with Fella. And Sims. Sims gives it to Monik. Monik in no hurry. Gives it back to Fella. Who finds Hoda. Hoda back to Fella. Fella to Monik. Monik to Hoda. Hoda looking to skip around. And beats one and is challenged there by Matthew Thorne. With less than a minute to go in the 90 minutes that we're promised. Michael Sims gives it to Kandari. Kandari's header doesn't find Hoda as Bold gets it out, but Fella gets the ball. Fella unleashes a strike, but it is deflected off a Geelong back, and it is gone out for a St. Albans throw-in. St. Albans corner, my apologies. Short corner, it's with Hoda. Hoda whips in a very deep ball. Craig Brooker, thank you for joining the stream. He comments, Saints top of the table with this scoreline. Craig, that is absolutely correct. With this scoreline, Werribee City and St. Albans are both on 19 points, but St. Albans they both have the same goal difference, but St. Albans have scored one goal more than Werribee. So they do climb up on top of Werribee and take that number one spot. If it still stays the same, we still have a couple minutes here of stoppage time. However, forming that blockbuster clash next weekend at Galvin Park between Werribee City and St. Albans Saints. Book it into your calendars. Make sure you're in attendance because it will be a cracking match. As the ball is with Johns. Johns gives it to Trigger, and Johns with a nice little turn there. Tries to look for Melvin Beckett, but doesn't find his feet as Beckett is forced to chase. Beckett with his quick feet gets past two players, but the ball comes back to Jordan Wilkes as it's with Hoda. Hoda gives it to Fella. Fella looking to play a through ball to Kandari, but it comes off the back of a Geelong player. Gergic with a little slip there, but he's straight back up. And it's with Boll. Boll looking to square up to David Sims. Boll on the left foot. Gives the ball to Trigger. Trigger with his back towards the goal. Mitrovic with a touch on the right foot. Gives it back to Trigger. Trigger on the turn. And great shot there, right under the crossbar. But Robert Santilli, the St. Albans Saints shot stopper, was equal to it. And it is a corner for Geelong.
It's much better from Geelong. That's what we said earlier. If they can move that ball from side to side, they found Johns earlier in the passage before. This time Yachbol showing his quality going forward. And the ball's flicked in. Handball, penalty. And someone's been booked. We can't quite see from here.
And I believe it's Ben Shaper there. As the ball got whipped in for the cross, it has come straight into the front post. And I think it was a Ben Shaper who used his hand there. And it was Ben Shaper who got the yellow card. As Geelong captain Matthew Townley looks to tuck this one away to ensure that the Saints don't see top of the table at the end of this fixture. It is Townley against Santilli. And Townley slots it to the right. Santilli picked the correct side. But just like we said, you never know when it's over. And Geelong have gotten one back. And it is St Albans Saints 3, Geelong 1.
I believe that takes St Albans off the top of the table as well. So Werribee retain first place. Unfortunate for Santilli because he actually got a solid hand onto that. And the referee blows the final whistle. St Albans take the 3 points, but they don't take top spot with that final action. You just wonder whether Geelong, if Geelong had have made those changes earlier, a couple of those passages late in the game saw them come up with a couple of really nice opportunities. If they maybe had have tried that approach a little bit earlier on, could they have clawed their way back in? But not to be today. Churchill Reserve and St Albans come away with the 3 points.
Great work there, Ricardo. Fantastic match here. In the second half, it turned out to give us 4 goals. And just confirming for all those out there, next week it is Saturday the 13th of April, 3 p.m. kickoff at Galvin Park. It will be Werribee City versus St Albans Saints. And on that same day at 5:30 p.m, Geelong Soccer Club at their home ground, Stead Park, will be hosting Ballarat City. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Ricardo, it has once again been a pleasure. And that's all from us here at Churchill Reserve. It is Josip Herzog and Ricardo Macchioli signing off.